All right, what's going on, everybody? It's fucking fight day, man. Like I always say, fight day to fight fans like us, the hardcores, or even some casuals when it's a big fight. It's like Christmas morning, and I'm really looking forward to this fight. We had the weigh in yesterday, had some drama. George Kambosos was like 10 ounces over the weight limit, right? A lot of excuses coming in. Oh, the scale wasn't calibrated right. There was too many people on the stage. Uh, the people were shaking the scale, whatever. Okay, that's fine. They can say whatever they want, but guess what? Guess what, everybody? Devin Haney stepped on that same fucking scale with all those people on the stage, with all the shaking and the maneuvering as they're claiming, right? And Devin Haney made weight. And not only that, Devin Haney looked shredded. He looked lean. He looked ripped. He looked, like he was full. He did not look depleted. He did not look flat. When George Kambosos stepped on that scale, he looked horrible. Eric, my partner, texted me yesterday and he said he looked horrible. His face was sunken in. His body was all fucking dry and he had no muscle mass on him. He looked flat. Anyone who knows how someone looks when they look flat, they have no muscle fullness. That's what George Kambosos looked like yesterday. My man Lion Killer, he's joining us. I think he's got a good internet connection. I hope. Give me your take, brother. What did you
Hey,
take away?
nothing much, man. Trying to hear you a little bit. My bad. Real quick, Kambosos has no confidence. He's been trying to
None.
sell himself to fight,
There you go.
and I hadn't been watching any media on it. So yesterday I got to see a little bit. I saw the face off in Australia. Um, he's trying to psych himself up. He's trying to sell himself. He doesn't believe in himself at all. So that's the X factor of this fight. Period. That's the
Yeah.
total X factor.
Yeah. And Haney looked like he was a bigger man. He had a bigger frame. Looked a couple inches taller. Definitely got longer arms. And just to piggyback off what you just said, George Kambosos sounds like he's like a character straight out of a gladiator movie with all these quotes. He seems very scripted to me. He seems like he's trying too hard to come off as being confident, like you said. And I don't know, man. Devin Haney is the younger guy. He's the guy with a lot of things working against him going into Australia, but he looks to be the more relaxed guy. So we have to ask ourselves this question: Is George Kambosos have a lot more pressure on him than Devin Haney does? Because now he's the guy with the titles. He's the hunted. He's not the hunter, and he's got a lot of pressure to perform in front of those 50,000 people in his backyard, man. So I just didn't like how he looked yesterday. I haven't liked how he's behaved throughout the whole buildup. And I agree, you 110%.
Yeah.
It seems like he's trying to talk himself into
Well,
how
the cherry on top was I missed weight on purpose.
Yeah, that was kind of corny.
Yeah,
That was kind
that
of
was the end capper to my conclusion on that. So, but he's done. He might literally shit the bird in this fight. And
yeah, I think he will.
You got Australia. You got a nation that's behind you, but it's also a double-edged sword. So, that pressure, like you said, can be catastrophic. But I'm gonna get out of here, man. I was just trying to roll in real quick, early. Man. I'm gonna keep watching. You have a good one, man. We'll talk later.
You have a good one, brother.
All right.
All right, be good. So yeah, I don't think Haney needs the stoppage, Cali King. I don't think he needs it. I just think he's going to get it. Right? I just think he's going to get it. I'm being honest. This is not a beauty contest, right? And sometimes we read too much into how the fighters look. I mean, there's Tyson Fury, it's prime example. He's not a body beautiful. But again, when you're looking at these guys, the lighter weight classes where people have to make weight, right? It's more important to look at how they look. You can tell if someone looks depleted or looks flat. Like his body looked flat. He had like not 1 ounce of definition on him. Like you could tell his body was depleted. You could tell he really had to starve himself to make the weight. people like to say Devin Haney starves himself to make the weight, but Devin Haney, he looked full, man. He had that muscle fullness. He was shredded. He did not look dry at all, man. He looked confident. He looked happy. George Kambosos did not look good at that weigh-in yesterday. And again, this is just me, my opinion. I don't think he's looked good throughout the whole buildup of this fight. He's totally different. Like, he was the cool, calm, collective guy going into the Teofimo Lopez fight last year, while Teofimo was the guy who was wound up. Now the roles seem to be reversed, man. They seem to be reversed. He seems like the guy who's wound up too tight. He seems like the guy who's letting all this fame and glory get to him. And again, all this corny things he's been saying, he has to constantly try to diminish Devin Haney, like, I chose you, you don't belong here, blah, 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 blah. But who the fuck were you going to fight if you weren't going to fight Devin Haney, right? Who were you going to fight? This whole thing about trying to convince Devin Haney that you chose him. I mean, you both chose each other. This is the guy who's going over to Australia to fight you. And like it was said yesterday, I think Jeff Fennick said it yesterday, or someone said it yesterday, that more Americans need to go overseas and win titles, and stop having to fight in America to get these big opportunities. Man, George just did not seem confident to me. He seemed like he's just trying to work himself up. And here's the thing: both guys are not big punchers. Right? I think Haney's faster. I think he's physically stronger, in my opinion. I've seen Haney, get a little buzzed in fights, and he's grabbed guys and he's contained them on the inside. Kambosos is a guy, to me, who fights in spurts, right? He's got a little bit of an ambush style to him. He likes to go. He fights somewhat similar to Manny Pacquiao. Again, I'm not saying he's Manny Pacquiao. I said he has a similarity where he likes to go in and out. Doesn't use as much angles as Manny Pacquiao. Is not as explosive and dynamic, but he's tricky with his movement. You have to time those onward rushes, those in and out movements of him. You have to time when he's going to reset, right? So he likes to control that type of pace in the fight. He likes to choose when the exchanges happen, right? He likes to control that. But the thing about Haney is Haney constantly touches you with that jab. It doesn't necessarily have to hurt you with it, doesn't have to push you back with it, but he's constantly touching you, making you react to it. So you keep your hands at home, right? Doesn't let you get off. He doesn't let you get off sometimes. So he's good at that. Jab is really good at disrupting his opponent's rhythm, right? And Haney throws the straighter punches. He's got a very underrated left hook too. He's got a sharp, explosive left hook, right? I think that's going to be the key punch in this fight, believe it or not. Because I think when Kambosos is going to be moving in and out, I just have a feeling he's going to start getting frustrated with that jab, and he's going to sell out in this fight. I think he's going to make that one big mistake later in the fight, like mid to late in the fight, like in around rounds, like in between 8 and 10, right? I think he's gonna be behind on the fight, and that's when he's gonna start getting desperate. Sort of like how Teofimo Lopez knocked him down late because he was getting a little bit too complacent, a little overconfident, and he jumped in, and Teofimo Lopez caught him with a beautiful counter shot, right? See, Devin Haney, I just think even though he's a young guy, he doesn't have a ton of experience, but he really impressed me in that Jojo Diaz fight where Jojo Diaz was pressing on. A lot of people thought that fight was competitive. I thought that Devin Haney pulled away in that fight. I think it only gave Jojo Diaz like 2 or 3 rounds in that fight. A lot of other people had it closer. I just think that Devin was just picking him apart from the outside. He was just outmaneuvering him. You know what I mean? So I think Devin Haney's really good at turning guys. He's really good at counter punching, and he's really good at being active with that jab and just really throwing that jab to just be a pesky type weapon for him. It's not necessarily always there to be an authoritative jab, like I said earlier. I just think it's a pesky type jab. It's a quick jab. He moves it around. I think that's one weapon here that's going to be a thorn in George Kambosos' side. But I'm telling you, I have a feeling George Kambosos is going to get a little reckless late in this fight. He's going to get desperate, and he's going to walk into a big left hook, and I think that's going to change the fight. And I think Devin Haney stops George Kambosos tonight. Shout out to my man Eric Lorda. He said the same thing. I think he's going to stop Kambosos. I think Kambosos looked horrible. I don't think his mind is ready for this fight. And here's the thing, too, man. Like Lion Killer said, he's trying to talk himself into being confident for this fight. I don't think he really is. I'm being honest. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he really is. I think he's got the weight of the world on his shoulders, and I think that's going to play into this fight. Devin Haney's got nothing to lose, man. Devin Haney's got nothing to lose. And you know what? I'm going to say it, and it's going to sound horrible, but I just think George Kambosos was in the right place at the right time when he fought Teofimo Lopez. I cannot forget and discount how he looked against Lee Selby. Arguably lost that fight. He won a close split decision, and against Lee Selby, he was definitely past it. Same thing with Mickey Bay. Mickey Bay was definitely past it, and he squeaked by in that fight. That fight could have gone either way. So are we going to see that George Kambosos, or are we going to see the George Kambosos we saw in the Teofimo Lopez fight, who capitalized on the moment? Full credit for capitalizing on the moment, but that was not, I'm just sorry, that was not the best version of Teofimo Lopez. It just wasn't. And Devin Haney, I don't think will be in that same mind frame as Teofimo Lopez was. I think he'll be, he's in better shape, right? I think he's going to be prepared for this fight tonight. And I'm just looking for Devin Haney to rise to the occasion, man. This is going to be that fight where, he just rises to the occasion. Nobody fights anybody till they fight somebody. And this is going to be Devin Haney's breakout fight, in my opinion. That's how I see it. I just think this is going to be Devin Haney's breakout fight, in my opinion. Again, I think that the taller, longer, quicker, faster guy, not taking anything away from George Kambosos. He's got some athleticism to him. But I just think Devin Haney, I honestly believe Devin Haney does do everything better than George Kambosos. This is the argument. Oh, well George Kambosos is tougher. How do we know that? I mean, okay, he did get up against Teofimo Lopez, but that was one fight, right? Devin Haney got hurt in the Linares fight. And again, people can say whatever they want, but he recovered. He recovered and he came back. And he held on and he won the fight. You know what I'm saying? Devin Haney doesn't fight with emotion. If he gets hurt in a fight, he makes sure he recoups. He's not going to try and go right back at you. George Kambosos gets hurt in a fight. He wants to get it back. So I just think there's going to be a lot of pressure on George Kambosos. He's going to fight outside of himself tonight. And I think he's going to make some mistakes. I think he's going to get reckless later in the fight, as I said earlier. And Devin Haney, who's the more poised, relaxed guy, even though he's the younger guy, less experienced guy, I just think that he's going to rise to the occasion, man. Let's take a look at the odds. Let's take a look at the odds here, because the odds are interesting. Devin Haney did open up as a big favorite here, right? And now the odds have narrowed, right? Let's run down the whole odds. So Devin Haney is a minus 170. George Kambosos is a plus 140. So this is pretty near close to a 50-50 fight, right? The over is 10.5 rounds. So if you take the over, you're getting a minus 390. So the odds makers are saying this fight is going to go to the distance. The under is at 10.5 at a plus 295. The fight to go the distance is a yes at a minus 130, no at a plus 225. Fight outcome, Kambosos by decision or technical decision is a plus 240. Kambosos by KO, TKO, or DQ is a plus 550. The draw is a 1600. Haney by decision is only a plus 100. So the outcome here is what people are saying, that they think Haney's going to win. They think Haney's going to win by decision. It's basically getting even money. Now, Haney by knockout is a plus 500. So what I would do here is I would bet both sides for Haney. I would bet Haney to win by decision, and then I would take my bet, right, and I would cut it in half. So if you were going to bet 100 on Haney to win by decision, right, I would take 50 of it, right? I would take, well, actually, you know what I would do? I would take 50 of it, right, and just bet Haney by knockout. So I would straddle it. I would bet 100 for Haney to win by decision, and then I would. So whatever you do, so whatever your bet is, bet him to win by decision, then cut that amount in half and just throw it on Haney by knockout. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. That's my pick. You know what I mean? And if you really think the fight's going to go the distance, but you don't know who's going to win, I mean, would you? I don't think it's worth putting up the 330 to do that. So that's my recommendation. I would pick Haney by decision, right, and then cut that amount you're betting on him by decision in half and bet him by knockout. I would straddle it. I'm really confident Haney wins this fight tonight. I'm just being honest. That's how I see it. That's how I see it, brother. That's how I see it. But yeah. So Joe Ramos says Haney down to a minus 165. Put my bet in last night. So you bet Haney straight up? Yeah, I'm not. I think we put too much stock into this whole. Please stop with this robbery talk. Devin team has removed 2 judges and the ref has been replaced. Yeah, I think they did their due diligence. Talk trends. I'm with you, brother. I mean, we gotta stop with this fucking robbery shit. I did a great interview with Steve Weisfeld, who's arguably the best judge in boxing right now. And oh, I'm sorry. Let me finish this point, Adam, and then I'll go back. I kind of did not look at the chat. Okay. Well, if you can repost it, I'd appreciate it because I can't see it right now. So yeah, and then I forgot. Let me just finish that. So I just lost my train of thought here. But yeah, this whole thing about the judges and the controversy and shit. Even I've fallen into that sometimes too. And the thing about it is, when we look at these scorecards, like even the Canelo scorecard, yeah, I only had him winning 3 rounds. Eric only had him winning 3 rounds. But our scorecards are not the same. Like I gave Canelo rounds 2 and 3. Eric gave Canelo rounds 1 and 4. And then we both gave him round 9. So, I mean, if Eric flips his 2 and 3 to Canelo, then, I mean, I'm saying that 115, 113 was not impossible. It was unlikely, in my opinion. It was unlikely, but it was not impossible. So I don't know. I mean, am I just supposed to assume that there was an envelope slipped to these judges under the table, or these judges were afraid if they scored it a certain way, they wouldn't be called back? I mean, I don't know, man. I just think we read too much into these conspiracy theories. I'm not expecting any controversies tonight, man. I'm expecting like it was said earlier in the chat, right? Like it was said earlier in the chat, they were on top of their game, Team Haney. They made sure that they got neutral judges. They made sure they got a qualified referee. They're not gonna leave any stone unturned, man. They're not gonna leave any stone unturned. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to, break down a fight and have to worry about the judges and have to worry about this, that, and the third. Could subconsciously the crowd play a factor in this fight for the judges? Could something happen and they hear the crowd scream? I talked to Steve Weisfeld about that, and I really think we overstate that, man. Because even myself, I've been to fights. I've watched fights on television. And I've even said, yeah, the crowd's just reacting to everything so-and-so does. But I didn't see it landing. So, yeah. I'll be honest with you. This is crazy, but Talk Trend says, don't be shocked if a second fight happens in America. Don't be shocked if Lomachenko slips in the back door and they end up fighting Lomachenko. The winner of this fight ends up fighting Lomachenko, because I was reading an article and it said, like, Todd DeBuff was saying that if Lomachenko's ready, he could fight the winner of this fight. And I was very surprised to hear that. So I was saying to myself, did they talk to both camps here, or is there an understanding that they may circumvent that rematch clause and let Lomachenko slip in the back door? Who knows, man? That's very interesting, man. That's very interesting to hear that. I was reading that too, so yeah, I'll be honest. I'm just going to say it. I know this is a 50-50 fight back on down on paper. I think Haney takes him to school. Like I said, in the early rounds, I think Haney's going to control the distance, right? I think he's going to be getting off first with the jab. I think Kambosos is going to be trying to step forward. But Haney, the longer, taller guy, is going to get off first with the jab. And he's going to blunt Kambosos' offense. So Kambosos is going to have a hard time getting past that jab, in my opinion, right? And he's going to have to keep those hands at home, trying to defend that jab, trying to get behind, trying to get past that jab. And Haney's really good at changing the levels with that jab too. And like I said, he's like pop, 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 pop. Just want to touch you with it, just to offset that rhythm. Hit you in the shoulders, chest, top of the head, wherever he wants to hit it. And I think Kambosos is going to have a hard time getting past that jab. And like I said, Haney throws those short, straight punches where Kambosos puts a little bit of a loop to him. I just think Haney's going to get off first. He's going to be the guy controlling the range, controlling the distance in this fight. And Kambosos is going to start getting frustrated as the fight wears on. Once he realizes he can't get in that mid-range area where he wants to be, so he can get off. And he's gonna kind of, I think he's gonna get reckless. He's gonna leap in with some. He's gonna get desperate. He's gonna try and throw that looping right hand over the top, right? And while he's throwing that looping right hand over the top, I think Haney's gonna get it. He's gonna get inside that looping right hand with the hook. Boom! You're gonna catch him with a nice counter left hook, and inside that right hand's gonna be coming over the top. Haney's gonna just come up with like that 45, boom, and that shot's gonna get there first. I just see Kambosos leaning in and coming over the top. And as he's coming over the top, Haney's just going to be like this, boom, that left hook counter. And I think that's going to change that. I think that's going to turn the fight right then and there. He's going to walk into a big left hand counter, trying to land that looping right hand over the top, and that's going to turn the fight right then and there, man. I'm picking Haney by stoppage tonight. I'm taking Haney by 10th round stoppage. I think Haney stops him in 10 rounds. And I think as the fight wears on, Kambosos is going to fade. I'm being honest, man. I just think he looked horrible at that weigh-in, bro. He looked bad. I was not impressed with him at that weigh-in yesterday at all. I just wasn't. And Haney, like I said, is the more relaxed guy. I agree with that. Kambosos is this emotional guy. He's so dramatic about everything. He goes into these fucking rants and these fucking things. He reminds me of the Ultimate Warrior. Remember the Ultimate Warrior in the WWE, where he would just come out and do these crazy promos? Oh, the stars in the sky and the warriors, and like he just sounds like a fucking goofball, bro. I'm just not feeling George Kambosos, man. And all this arrogant talk about, how he's this, that, I chose you, you're only here because of me, blah, 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 blah. I'm just fucking, it's just coming off so fucking fake and disingenuous. Who are you trying to fucking convince, bro? And then Haney just like laughing at him, bro. He's laughing at his ass. He's like, dude, you sound so fucking fake, bro. This is not you. Like, he wasn't acting like this before the T.O. fight, man. He was so humble. He was confident, but he was humble. He was just like, he was the the calm, cool, collected guy, and he was laughing at fucking Tio. And now the roles have reversed. Now he's the fucking cornball like Tio was. He's the guy going over the top. And now Devin's like laughing. Devin's like looking at him and laughing at him, man. Devin is going to take this motherfucker to school tonight, bro. I'm just being honest. This is going to be a one-sided fight. This dude is getting stopped tonight, bro. He's getting stopped. He's getting beat up, and he's going to get stopped late in the fight. He's going to sleep. Either the ref's going to wave it off or the corner's going to stop it, man. They're going to throw the towel in. He's not going to finish this fight. George Kambosos is not finishing this fight, man. He's not finishing this fight, bro. He's just not. And this is going to be Devin Haney's coming out party, bro. Now we got Bill Haney. Bill Haney's going to be there tonight. Shout out to Australian government letting Bill Haney in. Shout out to the promoters of this fight. Shout out to Lou DiBella, Bob Arum. I'm sure they did everything they could to make sure that Bill Haney was able to come to the fight. And that's a great move, man. Like Devin looked shredded, bro. He looked incredible, man. George just looked flat, man. George looked horrible, bro. He looked way better in that Teofimo Lopez weigh-in. Let me see if I can get some pictures here. George Kambosos, Teofimo Lopez. Let me see if I can do a comparison if I can find some pictures. Oh yeah, you could definitely tell a big difference. Big difference. Let me see if I can find this. Let me see if I can find this picture. If I could share the screen. Yeah, look at this, man. Let me see if I can share this screen, man. Let me see how it looks. I'm having a hard time sharing the screen, man. Let me see if I can share the screen. Screen share screen, Chrome tab. Yeah, here it is. So that's how he looked. Can you all see it? Can you guys see that? Let me know if y'all can see that. See how he looked? His face looked fuller in there. He was more ripped in that. He looked a lot better in that picture, man. Let's take a look. Let's see if we can take a look at. Yeah, he looked much better in that picture. So now let's take a look at Devin Haney one. He looked so much. He looked like you could tell, man. Tell me if y'all can see it. Y'all can see a difference because he was lean. He looked cut there. His face looked good. He didn't look drawn in. Let's see if we can see some images for this now. Okay, let me see. See if we could take a look at this one. Oh yeah, you could tell he looks flat. His face looks all fucked up in this one. Let me see. It's not cut at all in this one. He just looks let me see. Hold on. See if I can get a good picture. Yeah, his face looks fucking sunken in. He looks horrible, bro. Oh yeah, you could tell. Look how fucking flat his body looks. His face. Well, look at this. We'll show a few of them. Yeah, this one. He looks horrible here. He looks all flat and shit. Let me see if I can show you this, guys. Share screen, Chrome tab. Yeah, now look at this one. See how flat? Look at his face all sunken in. Fucking. Now look how flat his stomach looks. Like, look at him. Hey, look at him. He looks fucking horrible here, man. See if I can find some other pictures, man. Yeah, here's another one. He looks. Look how he looks flat. Look at his face. He looks horrible here, man. You don't look the same. Devin Haney's getting in his skin, saying he's not a true champ. Thanks for the bright and early boxing talk. The big homie Beeve is the master at boxing analyst. Thank you so much, Cali, brother. Thank you, brother. You can jump on if you want, man. Yeah, I think Devin looked phenomenal, bro. He was fucking shredded. I just disagree. I mean, believe me, I'd be honest. If I thought he didn't look good, I would tell y'all, man. We wouldn't be making this video right now if I thought he looked bad. I'll just tell you that right now. We'd be making a different video right now. Let's take a look. Here's Kambosos, man. Look how flat. Look at his face all fucked up. Look at that. Look at him. Not one muscle on his body. Look at his. It's all flat, depleted. Face all fucking skinny and shit. Neck all skinny. Nah, man. He didn't look like that last year against Tio, bro. I'm just being real with y'all. He didn't look like that. I'm telling y'all the truth, man. He didn't look good. That's just my opinion. I want someone to jump on him, man. I want someone to present the other side of the argument to me, man. You know I don't like an echo chamber. You know I don't like an echo chamber. Now let's see if we can find some Devin Haney pictures, man. Devin Haney. See if we can find some Devin Haney pictures. See if we can find some Devin Haney pictures, bro. It's funny how they don't have all these fucking pictures are from fucking Kambosos because he didn't make weight. Can't see any fucking Haney ones. But Haney, I thought Haney looked fucking awesome, bro. If I'm being honest. He looked fucking shredded, man. Oh, yeah, here's one. Here's a fucking picture. Oh, look at this, man. You could see this one, man. He looks good here, bro. He don't look flat here. You can see you can see. Let me see if I can see the whole picture here. They're not showing his face in this picture though, but you could see his body. You could see. So I get all these fucking ads. They fucking kill me here. All right. Let's see if I can find this fucking picture here. Devin Haney. You can see though, look, the muscle fullness here. Fucking the abs is shredded. He looked fucking good, man. He's smiling. He's happy. Biceps is popping out. Let me see. Yeah, look at this, man. Look at Devin Haney, man. Shredded. Biceps popping. He looks fucking good, bro. He looks much different, man. He looks much better. Haney looked fucking great, man. I'm being honest. He looked fucking shredded. Kambosos looked flat, man. He didn't look. I'm telling you, man. It's not a beauty contest, but again, when you see a guy looking flat like that, bro, face sunken in, trying to downplay the fact, oh, I missed weight on purpose. It's all fucking the art of war and shit. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Get the fuck out of here. He was embarrassed too, man. Nah, I'm not staring too hard, man. I got my own shit, man. Y'all know I got my own shit. I'm all fucking. I ain't got to worry about the next man. I got my own shit. You know what I mean? I got my own fucking. Look at this, man. My own fucking power right here, man. Can't fuck with this. Y'all know that. But yeah, it's gonna be a great one tonight, man. And the fucking Steve Fulton fight, man, is a good fight. Steve Fulton, Danny Roman, man. I'm looking forward to that one. I'm looking forward to that one. I really am, man. So that's the pick tonight. Devin Haney, 10th round stoppage, man. 10th round stoppage. We got a lot of fucking fights, man. And then we got Nonito Donaire too coming up, man. We got Nonito Donaire coming up on fucking Tuesday. I mean, this is a fucking great weekend of fights, man. And then we got fucking next week off to a good start. I'm looking forward to this, man. I'm definitely looking forward to this weekend, bro. I am looking forward to this weekend, no doubt. Yeah, he was definitely embarrassed. There's no question about it. You could tell. You could tell he was embarrassed. Then his dad was trying to run interference for him. Come on, man. Devin Haney stepped on that same scale. So if there was no issues with Devin Haney stepping on that scale, then all of a sudden the scale automatically was fucked up just because you stepped on it. Come on, man. And here's the thing, man. You could tell like there was a problem making weight just by looking at his face and his body, bro. He didn't look good. He did not look good. And as soon as he stepped on that scale, he jumped off it because he knew he wasn't ready. Haney did not miss weight. That's a lie. Here we go with the lies. He lied. Tell the truth, bro. Haney did not miss weight. George Kambosos did. I don't want to hear it. Don't lie. People running interference, not telling the truth. But we know what that is. We know what that is. We know what that is. I know. You think I should go live for this fight tonight? I'm thinking about going live tonight. What's up with his dad? His dad was trying to start some shit. Yeah, I mean they were going back and forth. They were going back and forth. Yeah, and Kambosos couldn't stop fucking Lee Selby, or he couldn't stop Mickey Bay. Yeah, I'm thinking about going live tonight. Doing a live cast for this fight tonight. I think I'm going to do it. All right, y'all. That's all for now, man. Again, like, what does this mean? Haney weighed 134.92, so he made weight by 36. Okay, so what the fuck does that? He made weight, bro. He made fucking weight. Let's be honest here. I think the live card starts at 9 p.m. Eastern time. Kambosos is not a big puncher, but neither is Haney. Yeah, but like I said, you don't have to be a big puncher if you land a shot that a guy doesn't see. That's what I'm saying. That's the difference. All you gotta do is make one mistake, and one punch can turn the fight. Anybody can get knocked out. Let's be real. Anybody can get knocked out. And if you got a guy who struggled making weight, who's not in tip-top shape, falls behind on the scorecards and decides he's going to get reckless, right? Then, I mean, he almost got knocked out against Teofimo Lopez. He had a shaky moment there, right? I mean, we're playing the what if game here, man. Again, anything can happen in a fight, bro. Every fight has a different set of circumstances. Every fight is different. I mean, it is what it is. He's getting stopped tonight. What are you going to say tomorrow when he gets knocked out? Oh, look at this. Oh. Your title is bullshit. Your title is bullshit. Nobody, and I repeat, nobody missed weight, dumbass. So George Kambosos didn't have to get on the scale twice. He missed weight. He did miss weight. He had to step on the scale twice. So he did miss weight. He made it afterwards, but he did miss weight. Technically, he missed weight. When he officially stepped on the scale, he missed the weight. He made weight, dumbass. You're a fucking goofball. Yeah, I'm winning because you crying. Beeb is controlling you. He's making you angry. Yeah, running interference. When you run interference for another man you never met, you look like a fucking goofball and a pussy and a dick rider. Yeah, and you're the guy who's mad. Beeb with the win. Beeb with the win. I have so much more power over this guy. Look at this guy, making this guy so mad. Look at the Kambosos fan crying. Oh, wow. Okay, we're done with this pussy. Anytime another man runs interference for another man, that's pussy-ish. JH, what's up, man?
Hey, happy Saturday and big fight
Saturday,
day,
baby.
Beebs.
Happy Saturday.
Oh,
We're getting a knockout tonight with Devin Haney, man.
is that what you're predicting, a knockout?
You want to lay it down? Getting a plus 500 right there, brother.
Well, brother, and once again, I've been in this business way too long. I don't bet, man. I know it sounds absurd, but
okay.
Yeah, I just don't
okay.
bet, man.
You're a real one. You're an honest one. You're an honest guy. You're a real one.
But I tell you what, though, man, I'm genuinely excited for this fight. I loved all the pre-fight bad blood. I really enjoyed the drama at the weigh-in. I'm genuinely excited and amped for this fight, man.
So, what are your thoughts on how this fight plays out? Do you think that this whole Australia thing and Devin Haney possibly not being able to get a fair shake here and all this preconceived narratives that are being put forth right now, what is your opinion on all this?
Okay, well, here's I've often been called and been accused of being a boxing apologist, right? Because I'm not a conspiracy theorist. But I will say this: I'm really disappointed in the selection of the judges. Here's why. And once again, there's a reason why you'll consistently see 3 names or 5 or 6 names consistently come up for the big events worldwide. And more often than not, it's going to be Steve Weisfeld, Tim Cheatham, Sutherland, Max DeLuca, a handful of Dave Moretti, a handful of guys that are very consistent. And there's a reason why they consistently get the big assignments.
Yeah. Because
they're the most consistent and they seem to be the most competent. Now, you look at the judges for the ones that were selected for this assignment. And look, there are far worse things than not being from your native country. Hungary, Zoltan, and Yeti. Does he have any big fight experience? When you look at his box rec, no. Poland's Pavel Yardeni. When you look on his box rec, he has no big fight experience either. Not at this level. The only guy who has this kind of championship level experience is Canada's Benoit Roussel. He's pretty solid.
Yeah.
But that's it. Is this going to affect the strategy of Devin Haney or George Kambosos Jr.? I don't think so. But you very well may see the judges' scorecards all over the place because these guys just do not, 2 of the guys anyway, just do not have that kind of championship level experience.
Let's see. I mean, let's take a look at these guys and kind of analyze the box rec. How many fights, have they judged? How much experience do they have? Let me see if we can get some information on it here. Sometimes on BoxRec you can pull them up.
Yeah, they're on BoxRec. And once again, the Hungary's Zoltan and Yeti.
Okay, Zoltan and Yeti started his career in 2007, right?
Yep.
So he's got a 15-year career. He's from Hungary.
Uh-huh.
And let me see the last fight he scored. Well, he scored the he was judged for the Sergey Kovalev Anthony Yard fight. That's a decent fight. Let's see. I'm trying to Jamel Herring versus Kyle Frampton. He scored that fight. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean,
Jojo
Carlos Tacom. Yeah.
Those were both knockouts.
Yeah. Joe Joyce. Yeah, Joe Joyce. But here's the thing. Donnie Nietes versus Norberto Jimenez. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. We don't have any poor scorecards. There's no Adelaide Bird moments from any of these judges either, though. So
you know what? That's an important thing because once again, and you saw that before it even happened. Adelaide Bird, she's infamous for favoring the boxer puncher, right?
Yeah.
She's she will traditionally favor the boxer puncher. and just like CJ Ross before the Canelo Mayweather fight, she was a judge who always favored the B side, gave them more credit than they potentially deserved, because she wanted to be. She tried so hard not to be that judge that favored the A side. Well, it worked in the adverse, right? She ended up favoring unwillingly or unknowingly favoring the B side.
Well, here's the Polish judge, and he's got a 21-year experience, right? And let's look at the other guy, Benoit Rossel.
Benoit Roussel's the most solid guy. He's good. He's very consistent, and he has a lot of championship level experience. I'm not concerned with him.
Here's the thing. I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. Do you think that they wanted to get judges like this who aren't well known because they didn't want like guys who have any preconceived, I don't know, maybe they wanted like fresh faces for this fight because they kind of know how certain people score fights. Like, for instance, people like to use like how judges are biased towards fighters. I think judges are biased towards styles. You know what I mean? Like Harold Letterman scored all those Pacquiao fights for Pacquiao.
Oh, of
right?
course.
Because
look, you're absolutely spot on the money, and that's what I usually do before every big fight is I look for tendencies in judges.
Correct.
But here's something that you look in other sports though, Beeb, where you look in the Super Bowl. Very seldom do you ever see a team that doesn't get big assignments in the Super Bowl, and in the NBA Finals. You get your best squad to work the finals every single year.
Yeah.
Right. And so why isn't that the case in boxing? This is a huge fight.
Yeah. Well, are these judges really? Obviously, like Steve Weisfeld, in my opinion, is probably the best judge in boxing right now.
That's what I'm saying. Why not get Steve Weisfeld? I don't care if he's from US. He's the best.
Glenn Feldman's a good one. I mean, but here's
Glenn
another.
Feldman's a great one. Yes, from Connecticut.
Yeah, you got to think of availability, and it's harder to get these guys to travel to Australia as well. I don't know, man. I understand what you're saying, but I don't know. Sly Tendency says, "Do you think the pressure is getting to George?" I don't know, man. I think so. Yeah, I think so.
What's up, Sly?
And then Team Devin Talk Trend said Team Devin removed 2 judges, so they were. I guess they did do their due diligence with this. They did remove 2 judges from this fight, and they're happy with the replacement. I don't know. I think there was probably a judge pool, and maybe whoever was available at the time. We don't know if the other guys were available. We don't, because there is a lot of fights going on this weekend. So maybe these guys already had assignments slated. I don't know. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here, but I totally understand what you're saying. Your point is well taken here, but I don't know, man. I don't think we're going to need judges tonight. I think Devin's going to stop him. I do think Devin's going to stop him. I don't like how George looked at the weigh-in. I don't like his behavior. I think does not seem confident to me. I mentioned this earlier. Going into that Teofimo Lopez fight, George Kambosos seemed like the cool, calm, collective guy. Teofimo Lopez looked like the guy who was all wound up too tight emotionally. He was just kind of like, now I think the roles are reversed. I think George Kambosos has taken on that Teofimo Lopez type persona, whereas Devin Haney seems like the cool, calm, and collective guy, in my opinion. So
that very well may be the case. But let me throw one final thing at you, right? In terms of before we start discussing the X's and O's in the ring, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
Now, once again, it almost seems like when you start talking strategy and start talking about what you're planning, your best plan for victory for George Kambosos, it almost seems like he has to put forth a Ricky Hatton-esque type performance, like one that he put forth against Kostya to win this fight against Devin Haney, because obviously the more athletic, the better skilled, just the better fighter is Devin Haney, right? So is this going to be an advantage for George Kambosos, because once again, upon conducting due diligence, Panama's Hector Rafu, the third man in the ring, he is an officious ref. He doesn't allow any kind of holding on the inside. Is that advantage George Kambosos or no? Do you think Devin Haney's not going to really tie him up too much? He's going to use his feet as the foundation of his defense, and his jab is going to take care of that pretty much.
I think the jab's going to take care of that because I think, like I said, he's got a very pesky jab, and he works that jab in overtime, and he's not looking to just use that jab as an authoritative weapon. He's looking at as a rhythm breaker. He's using that as a defensive weapon as well as an offensive weapon. So if a guy, he jabs on the way out, he jabs moving forward, and he just throws it in there as a pesky weapon to just kind of stifle his opponent's offense. He's not looking to always place it perfectly. He's not looking to throw it hard. He just is very consistent with it. And I think George Kambosos is going to try to move forward, and he's going to try and get off with his jab. But I think the taller, longer, quicker Devin Haney is going to get off first. And I think that he's going to be the guy who is controlling the pace of the fight because of the jab. Kambosos is more of he's kind of a guy who fights in spurts. He likes to use that ambush style, likes to go in and out. He's more of a mid-range guy. Devin throws the straighter shots where George kind of puts a little loop to his shots. We saw that right hand that landed against Teofimo Lopez. That was a looping shot over the top. So if you got a guy who's looping versus a guy who's throwing straight, and a guy who's quicker, taller, and longer, the guy who's quicker, taller, and longer throwing the straighter shots, I think is going to get there first. But I think the jab is definitely going to be a rhythm breaker. It's going to offset a lot of the things that George wants to do. I think it's going to prevent him from getting set. It's going to prevent him from getting in those positions where he could land. And I think it's going to be a big problem. And I think Devin actually is a very sneaky counterpuncher. And he's got a people say he can't punch, but he's got a very, very underrated counter left hook. And I think that counter left hook could get inside that looping right hand of George Kambosos. And I think that's the punch that could possibly turn this fight at some point, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, Devin Haney, it's funny, and a lot of people do make fun of it. All his detractors make fun of, he's got no power. Well, he's got enough where he seems to command the respect of his opposition. You don't see them just walking through the front door.
Yeah.
Like the only reason why Jorge Linares seemed to make a fight out of it in the back third of the fight is because, Devin Haney obviously has been having trouble making weight. It's had the past year and a half, and he seemed to run out of steam the back third, and he was electing to fight Jorge Linares in the pocket. But before that, pretty much a 6-7 round shutout.
What was your assessment of Devin Haney's performance against Jojo Diaz? Because some people had that fight close and competitive.
No, only ones who wanted it to be close.
Yeah, I thought he won wide. and that was a good test for Devin Haney because Jojo Diaz, I would say, in my opinion, was the best name on his resume, and he comes to fight, and he's a very aggressive guy. He's a grinder on the inside. And I thought this was a great test for Devin Haney. And I thought Devin Haney won the fight like 9 rounds to 3, 10 rounds to 2. I had it wide.
I had it exactly the same way you did. And once again, it's but here's the difference in that matchup. And yes, it was a good litmus test leading into this fight. But Jojo, he can't punch at 35. He's not a puncher at 35. This is a guy who's a natural 122 pounder. 126 pounder. This is a guy who competed, at the Olympics at the lower weight divisions. He's a smaller guy. Kambosos, he's not. See, this is, in my opinion, the reason why I brought up Ricky Hatton before, when I said he needs a Ricky Hatton-esque performance. He almost reminds me of an Aussie version of Ricky Hatton, where he's kind of an overachiever. He's not the most skilled guy in the ring. He's got very, deceptive hand speed, very good hand speed. He's got strange, awkward footwork, very disjunct, very sporadic, where it can disrupt your timing and rhythm if you're a counterpuncher and he's moving in. But because Devin Haney does like to get off first with that jab, I don't think that's going to be a problem. But this is a guy who's a very tough strong-minded. He's a very tough, strong, physically and mentally durable fighter. Who is a jack of all trades but a master of none, Beebs.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't do any one thing exceptionally well, but he's solid. And because of his confidence, because of his will, he's kind of an overachiever. Will that actually serve him well in this fight in spots? Yes, I think he's going to have his moments. But if Devin Haney is still Devin Haney, and the weight cut hasn't depleted him, and if he's still capable of working all 3 minutes of every round, yeah, he should win this fight comfortably.
Yeah. What did you think of how both guys looked at the weigh-in? Who do you think looked better? And does that even matter at this point? Do you think we're putting too much into that?
No, I don't think you are, because Haney did look drawn. But and here's the difference, right? Now, when you look at, and this is the only area of concern for me, is the back third of the fight. I'm hoping that we see the best version of both guys, but this is why I think he fades late. Because when you look at the time of the weigh-in in his last fight against Jojo Diaz, they gave him that courtesy almost 36 hours to recover. Because remember, they had the weigh-in at a special designated time of 8:30 or 9 a.m. And then they had the weigh-in ceremony later on that day for the sake of the media and the fans. Do you remember that?
I don't, but I do take your word for it.
Okay, and so in this case, well, he only has 25, 26 hours to rehydrate and recover. That's a big difference.
Do you think George had any issues with this weight? Do you think he made the weight comfortably? Did he look drawn at all to you on the scale?
No, he didn't. He looks like a guy who is, even though he's older, he's not as big as Devin Haney. He's not as wide. He's like Devin Haney. You see him in the gym. This is a big kid. Like, it's shocking that he still makes 135 pounds.
It's funny how they're both listed at 5'9", but Devin Haney looks like at least 2 inches taller than him.
Yeah, it's that WWF there kind of action where they don't give the accurate dimensions. But Devin Haney's a big boy. Like, honestly, it's shocking that he's still making 35. So,
do you think Devin Haney will win this fight? Are you leaning towards him? What is your actual pick?
I think just like when I chose Bivol over Canelo, even though Kambosos is going to get the benefit of a lot of close competitive rounds, just like Canelo did on the judges' scorecards, he's going to put forth a performance where you're not going to be able to reward Kambosos with the victory.
Okay.
This should be a dominant victory for Haney. And if I'm thinking at the most, maybe 8-4.
Yeah. I think what's going to happen in this fight is I think Haney's going to win a lot of the early rounds. He's going to bank them. I think he's going to be getting off first. I think he's going to be controlling this fight, right? I think Kambosos is going to have a hard time getting to him. And I think as the fight wears on, I think Kambosos is going to get frustrated. I think he's going to get desperate. And I actually think that he had a worse weight cut than Devin. I thought Devin looked better than he's ever looked in most recent weigh-ins. I thought he looked full. I thought he looked cut, lean. Some people say he looked dry. Okay, but I think Kambosos definitely looked dry, but Kambosos looked flat. He had no muscle fullness. Like, you could tell he was depleted, in my opinion. I think Kambosos is going to probably be the worse for wear later in this fight, more so than Haney. And I also think because he's going to get frustrated, because he's going to get desperate, I think he's going to make a mistake. And because Haney is such a good counterpuncher, here's the thing. You don't always have to be the biggest puncher in the world, but if you're hitting a guy with a punch he doesn't see and the guy is coming forward and walking into it, then all that can make all the difference in the world.
Absolutely.
I just have a feeling that Kambosos is going to get desperate and make that one big mistake late in the fight, and he's going to pay for it. And I think he's going to get stopped in the 10th round, in my opinion. I really do.
Well, let's just hope that all of the pre-fight pageantry or the pre-fight gamesmanship really hasn't affected Team Haney or Devin Haney mentally, because it almost seems like, and I'll never forget, because I was doing some publicist work for Austin Trout back when he fought Canelo.
Oh, wow.
And so I'll never forget, they flew him into San Antonio on coach. They had him sitting in with the with everyone else there. They had him staying with all of the prelim talent.
Wow.
While Canelo was up there sitting at the River City Marriott, right?
That's crazy.
So yeah, and it almost seems like they did the same thing they get the same treatment to Devin Haney, making things as uncomfortable and as difficult as possible for him leading up to this point, right?
So the fact that they had to go to those lengths, because I kind of get the same feeling that you just, from what you just said. I agree with a lot of that, what you just said. Does that tell you, though, that because they have to look for every edge, does that make them maybe less confident than they should be in this fight? Do they really believe that they have the skills to beat Devin Haney, or do they have to go out of their way to look for every little advantage?
No, it's just something that's always gone on within the sport of boxing. Since the mob controlled all the champions back in the 50s.
So in other words, they have the leverage. So obviously, if you have the leverage, why not just use it? In other words,
that's it.
Yeah.
And that's that. And once again, this is what happens sometimes. And once again, it got the better of Austin Trout. I don't see it getting the better of Devin Haney in this situation, but it is that pre-fight gamesmanship that often happens when you're the B side, right? But I tell you what, Beebs, enjoy all the fights today, brother. Always a pleasure sharing the air with you,
all right,
my
brother.
friend. Love your insight. God bless
Thank
you, man.
You too, brother. I'll catch up.
Bye-bye.
All right. So let's do a little poll. Let's see who you guys think is going to win. I'm interested. Who wins? Haney or Kambosos? So we'll ask the community here. Who do you guys think is going to win tonight? I'm curious to see what the poll states. Yeah, so we're getting incredible odds here with Haney by stoppage, and I think definitely that's going to be a plausible outcome here. Now that we got Bill Haney, I mean, I wonder if at the end of this fight we are going to have controversy. I wonder if this fight does go the distance, right? I wonder if this fight does go the distance, if these scorecards, like Joseph said, are going to be all over the place. Should we be concerned about these officials? That's the thing. Should we be concerned about these officials, right? Will this weigh on Kambosos mentally, the fact that he had to step on the scale twice to make weight? Was this an inconvenience? Did this throw him off? We saw that Haney jumped right in his face and said, yeah, you missed weight. You're not a real champion. Did he actually get in his head during the closing moments of that weigh-in, right? Did the pendulum swing in Haney's favor now? Because he now may have that mental edge now, right? Because he actually made weight and Kambosos didn't. So right now it's 1 round to 0, right? Kambosos may have already lost the first round by not making weight on that original try and having to step on that scale twice, right? So does he have the mental edge? And I have to keep going back to this. Fighting at home sometimes isn't always an advantage. It's not always an advantage. It puts a lot of mental pressure on a fighter. He hasn't been back here in 5 years, and now he's coming back here for the first time in 5 years against a huge fight, against a huge opponent, right? They're saying 45 to 50,000 people are going to be there. Now, you know, the fact is, this is a lot of pressure for both men. But once again, who has more of the weight of the world on their shoulders, Devin Haney or George Kambosos, right? Is that a great mental boost for Devin Haney knowing that his dad is going to be allowed, and his dad is already actually there. His dad has arrived, and he's there right now in Australia, right? Is that going to give him a big mental boost, right? It's a good question, right? That's a good question. So, you know, the more we talk about this fight and the more I think about it, the more motivated I am to want to go live. All right, so the poll says right now we got 58 people who voted, and it says 72% of going for Haney, 28 are going for Kambosos. We got 190 people in this chat right now, or watching live right now. We only have 52 likes. Come on, guys, like and share the video. Please subscribe. And again, we only have 58 votes. Let's get some more votes here. Let's everyone vote here, right? Hit the like button. Let's everyone vote. Shout out to MAW because he totally disagrees with my analysis here, and I respect him because he's being respectful to me. See how we can disagree and we don't have to make this emotional? See a lot of you guys going back and forth in this chat. You're battling with each other. Hey, man, it's only boxing, man. Neither one of these guys knows you. It's okay to be a fan, but at the end of the day, let's be honest. It's just a boxing match. Unless you're betting the mortgage on this fight, should we really? I mean, again, I can't tell people how to feel. You guys can feel however you want to feel, but should we really get this emotionally involved in this fight? I'm American. Is there an American bias here? No, because again, I'm just looking at the styles. I'm looking at the, you know, fighters' abilities, what they do well, what their weaknesses are. And excuse me, I just think that Devin Haney has all the advantages here, in my opinion. And am I going to just go with the guy because I'm expecting the judges to not do the right thing? I don't think it's okay to have that concern. There could be a caveat in a lot of people's minds, right? But just to assume that the judges are going to lay an egg, they're going to fuck off here, not even giving these judges the benefit of the doubt beforehand. Is that really fair? I don't think so. Lynette Dodd's asking me, who did I pick? I'm picking Haney by 10th round stoppage. I think Haney's getting the knockout here. Bang Mateo said it's double standards and privilege. BS, that's why, Joe. And he says laws are laws. I don't know what you're talking about when you're saying laws and laws are laws. I don't know what your problem is with the legal system, but I don't know. B, explore the judges aspect. Unless I'm wrong, they're non-Australian, and Haney is a top-ranked fighter. Yeah, I'm anticipating Haney to get a fair shake. I'm tired of going into these fights and talking more about the judges than we're talking about the fighters. You know, let's talk about the fighters. Let's talk about the styles. Let's talk about the strengths and weaknesses. Let's talk about how these guys match up with each other. And let's stop putting so much emphasis, right? Let's stop putting so much emphasis on the judges here. Let's just stop doing that. let's go into this fight giving the judges the benefit of the doubt, right? And let's just fucking let the fight play out the way it plays out. I agree. Dr. Monfongo says, I don't go into fights expecting a robbery. It takes away from the fight. Yeah, it does. Sure does. You know? It sure does take away from the fight. I really believe it does. All right, we got 88 votes right now. I'm gonna keep doing some. I'm gonna let this poll go for a little longer. Then I'm gonna do so. Then I'm gonna do another poll. Actually, all right. We got 195 people watching. Let's get those likes up, man. 197 people watching. Let's get those likes up. Let's get those likes up. Come on, people. Let's get those likes up. Come on, everybody. Let's get those likes up, everybody. Other question I got. Like I said, I heard an article. Heard from an article that came out earlier in the week that Todd DeBuff was talking to Vasily Lomachenko, and they're actually looking for Vasily Lomachenko to get the winner of this fight. But that kind of contradicts the earlier reports of the rematch clause for George Kambosos. So has there been behind the scenes dialogue going on between the teams where there could be possibly a workaround for that rematch clause, right? Is there a way to circumvent that rematch clause? And as reported before, you know, since Devin Haney doesn't always make this weight comfortably, will he decide to go up to 140 after this fight, right? Because what else is there at 135 for Devin Haney? Because Teofimo Lopez isn't there anymore, right? Is he going to wait for Shakur Stevenson to move up to 135? By the time that happens, you know, he would have probably have grown out of the weight class. So would it make more sense for Devin Haney to just move up to 140 after this fight? Or will he fight Lomachenko next? Would that be a big fight for him? Would it make sense for him to fight Lomachenko? And what if this fight is so one-sided that it makes no sense to even have a rematch? That's the thing. I guess the fight they're saying is going to the card is going to it's listed as starting at 9 p.m. Eastern time. MAW has a great question for me. He says, what's your take on Tank if re-signing with TMT? Will he still stay out of the mix? Yeah. And here's my problem with the whole thing. Tank's making good money fighting guys who probably aren't the best guys he could be fighting. So it's, you know, high reward for low risk. That's fair to say that in my opinion. But again, that's subjective, right? But when you hear Mayweather say, oh, we don't want to work with anyone else, we don't want to make other promoters rich. Once again, putting his own personal feelings, needs, and wants above the needs and wants of his fighter. It's not about making another promoter rich. It's about making the fighter rich. This is why, as much as I criticize Eddie Hearn because he's got a big mouth and he talks a lot of shit, and he's a fucking irritating prick sometimes, but I respect the fuck out of him because he's worked with Canelo, he's worked with Devin Haney, he's worked with fighters before, and he worked with Alicia Baumgartner. And he puts the fighter first because let's go down the list of things that Eddie Hearn did to basically prove that he puts the fighter first. Obviously, he has vested interest in these fighters, and he wants to do what's best for his promotional company. But there have been a lot of occasions where he's put the fighter first. So when he was working with Canelo, he had no problem. Like, he didn't put up a stink. He's like, he actually he actually advised Canelo to go to PBC just so he could become undisputed, because he said to himself, I have a good relationship with these guys, Devin Haney. So, Devin Haney, and I have a good relationship with Canelo Alvarez. I have a good relationship with Alicia Baumgartner. So I have no problem letting Canelo go over there for one fight, becoming undisputed, because I know he'll come back to me. Same thing with Devin Haney. Has a great working relationship with Devin Haney, but he said to himself, in order for him to become undisputed, I had to let him go over there, right? They were on a fight to fight, but Hearn was treating Haney well. He's paying him well. So he said, you know what? Instead of becoming a roadblock and advising him not to take the fight because I want him to fight on with me and fight with the zone, he said to himself, go over there, win the undisputed, and do what you got to do to satisfy your obligations with Top Rank, whatever. And then when you can, come back to me, right? Same thing with Alicia Baumgartner. Had a work relationship with Alicia Baumgartner. What does he do? You want to get that Micaiah Mayer fight? Top Rank and ESPN, they offered a lot more money, right? They offered a lot more money. So what did he do? He said, go over in Top Rank and then, become undisputed and come back to me. Whereas Mayweather is putting roadblocks, and in my opinion, he's really hurting Tank's career. Tank's doing well. He's making money, but he could probably be making more money, right? I'm sure if the zone had that fight, he would be getting a higher guarantee than what he's getting over at Mayweather Promotions. If they were to put Ryan Garcia, right, and Tank Davis on the zone pay-per-view, right? If they were to do that, right, then that fight would be huge. I think that Tank could get paid more money fighting Ryan Garcia on the zone than he could if the fight was on PBC, in my opinion. I just think the zone would pay more for the fight. They would give bigger guarantees. You know what I mean? And Eddie Hearn, they've sent fighters over there, to fight over there, right? They've done cross promotions. PBC is again, they did it with Andrew Ruiz. That's fine. So we'll give them that. But they've never done it with an A-side fighter. You know what I mean? Like Eddie Hearn has sent over like Canelo over there. Canelo was the A-side, but Eddie Hearn advised him, go take that fight. He advised him to go fight the fight on PBC because you can make more money. He didn't stand in the way, right? He didn't stand in the way. So we got to give him credit, man. We got to give Eddie Hearn credit for putting the fighter first, where definitely Mayweather Promotions has not put the fighter first. They're so worried about, they're saying, oh, we're not going to put ourselves in a situation. We're not going to put ourselves, right? We're not going to put ourselves in a situation, right, where we can lose everything, or we could lose more than we gain. That's what they said. That's what they said. They don't want to do that, right? So that just goes to show you that they're not 100% confident in Tank. There's something about Tank that's telling them to not take the training wheels off him, if I'm being honest. Yeah, I don't know what the zone's doing with Bivol. And I agree. I think Canelo should have taken the PBC deal, to be honest with you. I think the PBC deal was better. I don't know why he didn't fight Charlo, why he didn't fight Benavidez. So I'm surprised. I'm surprised at that. But yeah, I think Tank is going to be out of the mix if he does continue to sign and stay with Mayweather Promotions, because they're putting the wants and needs of themselves over the fighter, right? Why not do cross promotions with other promoters if you can make the biggest fights? You're not going to sit there and tell me that Tank Davis versus Ryan Garcia arguably would not be the biggest fight in the lightweight division from a monetary standpoint. And why would you not want to do everything possible? Why would you not want to do everything possible to make that fight happen if you care about your fighter? Right? That's the thing. So if the zone could offer more money to make that fight happen, then why not let Tank just fight on the zone for one fight? I would really love to see just Tank become a free agent, if I'm being honest. Look what Devin Haney is the prime example of, the benefits of just being a free agent. Because now Devin Haney put himself in a situation where he could fight anywhere. And even though he had a history with Eddie Hearn and he was working with Eddie Hearn predominantly and he was on the zone predominantly, right? Once again, Eddie Hearn said, go for the under. Like Eddie Hearn was advising him. He told him to take this fight and fight on ESPN and fight with Bob Arum. He told him to take the 2-fight deal because there was no way he was going to get undisputed. Haney will be back on the zone, in my opinion, when it's all said and done. So you got to give Devin Haney credit for what he's doing. He's risking it all. He's betting on himself, right? He's betting on himself because he wants to become undisputed. So how do we not give him credit for that? He's doing something these other fighters are not doing. He's doing something these other fighters are not doing. Now I'm gonna do another poll here, and the question I'm going to ask is, will this fight end in controversy tonight? Will this fight end in controversy tonight? Ask the community. Yeah, I'm just curious to see if you guys think this fight will end in controversy tonight, or will we get a clean, fair shake tonight for Devin Haney and both fighters? I'm curious to see. I think the fight will not end in controversy. I think we'll get a fair shake. I'm going with Devin Haney by the knockout. Chad Fletcher says Kambosos by KO, no controversy. Yeah, I disagree. This fight is in pay-per-view in Australia. So I'm interested to see. Okay, 66% no, the fight will not end in controversy tonight. Yeah. Do you guys think that Devin Haney? Do you think there will be a rematch if Devin Haney wins? Do you think that Lomachenko will get the winner? Do you think that the rematch clause will be enforced and initiated by Kambosos? How do you guys think this whole thing is going to work out here? How do you see this thing playing out? How do you guys see this whole thing playing out? Tank gets the next fight. I think Tank and Ryan is gonna happen. I have a feeling they're gonna try like De La Hoya has been fucking up too, man. Not letting fucking Munguia fight Charlo, right? He's been fucking fights up too. Sitting there saying, oh, he never would have put Canelo in there with Bivol, this, that, and the third. It's so easy to be a Monday morning quarterback nowadays. Like, people really fucking expose themselves when they talk a lot of shit after the fights. If you didn't say that before the fight and you want a Monday morning quarterback it, then come on, bro. De La Hoya is full of fucking shit. He's probably one of the worst promoters in boxing right now, if I'm being honest. I'm not impressed by him at all. If I'm being honest, I'm not impressed by De La Hoya at all. If I'm being honest, yeah, I think I'm because there's so much interest in it. Like we got a lot of people watching live and stuff. I think I'm gonna come back tonight and I think I'm gonna come back tonight and do a video, man. Do a live cast. I think I'm gonna do a live cast tonight. I think I'm gonna do a live cast tonight. I want to do it. All right, guys. I think I'm gonna jump off, man. I want you all to enjoy the rest of your day, man. I'll talk to y'all soon, man. Have a great day, man. Be cool. Beavis out. Talk to y'all soon. Have a great one. And I think I'm gonna come back tonight and do a live cast, bro. Do a live cast tonight. I'll check y'all later, man. Be good.